Hello, Internet, and welcome to Last Time On. This is the podcast where we pick a show, watch an episode, then roll some dice and jump forward and try to figure out what happened last time on. I am your host, Ben.
I'm Jafar.
I'm Victor, and you're listening to the only podcast on the Internet hosted by three men who were all voted least likely to lose their virginity, and only one of us actually has proof.
Ha!
I'm Victor. Yeah. Did I say that? I think I said that. Yeah.
You know, that would hurt if it weren't true.
I would have had to have been remembered to be voted on.
Yeah, same here. I skipped most of my final years of high school.
I won most likely to succeed at some point. I don't know if that was like senior year or something, but
We didn't do superlatives.
Well, huh.
I was also up for biggest hoopty car, and man, that car was a fucking.
Well, do tell. What kind of car did you drive?
I had a '94 Plymouth Voyager.
Is it a minivan?
This is a minivan. This car was over a decade old when I had it, for reference, and it had, my dad bought it from a shop that he was friends with a couple of the guys at. I learned much later in life why he was friends with those guys, and we can all have a good laugh about that after pod. I'll give you a hint. Drugs. And it was just like his shop that he would always take cars to, and someone had taken this in and had not wanted to pay for it and just left it there and signed over the title rather than pay for the car repairs. And so they tinkered with it a ton. So it had a custom-built transmission that the guys at the store put together. So it would accelerate, like, its gear ratios were insane. I could fly in this thing, which is exactly what you want, you know, a senior in high school to have, is a minivan that goes way faster than it should. I easily pushed that thing over 120 a couple of times.
Hell yeah.
I would race cars in that, like, not like actually, but, you know, like, you're at a light, you see a fancy sports car, you look over at them, they think it's funny, and then you smoke them.
I accidentally did that to a cop once. Yeah, no, I was sitting at a light. I was late coming home from work, and I just, like, stretched out, and my foot hit the accelerator and go vroom, and I looked next. I was sitting next to a cop, and I was just like, oh, and I looked at him, and he looked at me, and he revved his engine. I was just like, I'm going to let you win this one, bro.
Make them different in Texas.
See,
Yeah.
my parents figured out the secret. In high school, I had a 1993 Chevy Suburban. That thing is huge.
Oh, yeah.
3 rows, could fit 8 people plus all their lacrosse gear in it.
Yeah.
And that thing got like 10 highway, 5 city.
Oh, yeah, the worst gas mileage on earth.
And I was a broke high school student. So they didn't have to worry. It's like Ben going out and getting in trouble. He can't afford it. Like, oh yeah, is Ben going to throw all of his dumb friends in the car and go get into trouble? Only if they're bringing gas money.
Yep.
Oh, but the end of that story is that transmission melted on me.
Oh.
Yep, nice.
Yeah, like the seals broke and it literally just drained out. It was a whole thing.
Ooh,
on the
that's
road.
sad.
It was very, very dead. It died 2 weeks before I left for college.
Oh, man.
So I didn't have a car my freshman year because my car had just died.
Man, there's always that there's that crappy car you had when you were young that you just holds a special place in your heart, even though it was a piece of crap.
I will never own another Plymouth Voyager.
Yeah. I'll save my car story for another time. But yeah, let's. Speaking of expensive or not expensive cars, God, that was a shit segue. Let's talk about billions.
Yeah. It's showtime.
It definitely feels like they have to remind us that this is on Showtime. This show tried so hard to be fucking edgy all the time. Just me?
Yeah, we open in media S&M, media BDSM, media
Yeah.
BDSM. There we go.
John Adams is all tied up. We're seeing Paul Giamatti's Sternbush as he is being dominatrixed.
Yep.
Yep.
And this woman in some stiletto heels puts out a cigarette in his hairy bush chest and then pees on him. That's what happens. That is exactly what happens.
I mean, she pees on him to, like,
Put out the
fire on his hair, I guess. I don't know.
I'm assuming that
To take away the burn. Yeah,
well,
like
wouldn't it sting? You know, with
I will say,
don't
as the
know,
person
Vic,
who
would it?
suggested, who picked this show, my notes here is, oh my, I've made a mistake.
This better not awaken anything in me.
Not what I expected from a show Ben picked. I
No,
will say
I was
that.
like, ooh, financial crimes. Let's talk about this. Like, so from our BDSM BDSM session, we cut over to the DA's office.
Yep.
Where we've got people making calls and making moves and
Mover and a shaker.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and we get told like the SEC's calling. The SEC, fuck the SEC.
No,
it made
he's
me
here.
it made me think of the bit from the end of Burn After Reading, like. Should we inform the FBI? What? Fuck the FBI. Like, but nope, the guy from the SEC is here. Ah, fuck. Okay, show him in. And I do appreciate the disdain they show for the SEC matches how I feel about the SEC, because it is a group that just does not have enough teeth to matter. If you know your fine is $50,000, but you're going to make $200,000 on it, whatever, fuck it, find me. You know, that is how the SEC operates.
I gotta say, I'm not familiar with the SEC. I'm sure I've heard of it before.
Securities
but
and
I-
Exchange Commission.
Exchange Commission.
Okay. Yeah, I had to put subtitles on because I couldn't understand what they were saying. I thought you were saying FCC at first. It was all just like, are they going after a cable company? What? So.
No,
I wish
they
the
did
FCC
swears.
had more teeth too.
Yeah.
Maybe we wouldn't have people peeing on Paul Giamatti to start my television shows if that were the case.
Well, it's on Showtime, so I'm sure it was late night thing. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Can I just say that when they walk into Chuck's office, I thought for a hot second that Chuck was talking to nobody on the phone, that he was just trying to sound important. You know,
It feels that way.
He was saying,
Because he's
like,
just
oh,
all
yeah.
like, oh, and I can always refer a judge for appointment, which seems like a big fucking conflict of interest for a
Well,
DA to do.
But what he's saying is like, I can always make a recommendation. Like,
Yeah.
Which is a thing I imagine like high up yucky yuck, lawyers are just like, yeah, I worked with somebody, they're great,
Offering a referral and telling someone who they should nominate for a position are very, very different things.
No, but he said I can make a suggestion.
Yeah, it was something
Yeah.
important. I
Yeah.
can't remember exactly what it was for, but
So
anyway,
we cut. So we have our SEC guy being like, we should go after this guy Axelrod.
Bobby X, Axelrod,
Yeah.
X Capital.
We found 3 guys who made an illegal trade all at the same time, and they all can be traced back to the big guy.
Mm-hmm.
Then we bounce over to, I don't know if it's a flashback or what, but we get Mr. Bobby there eating a nasty looking slice of pizza. I mean, this is just, they're saying, oh, this is the best pizza ever. Oh, your face always lights up when you're here. Guys, did you see this pizza? It looked bad.
It did not look good.
Yeah.
It
And-
looked undercooked. It looked floppy.
So you're saying it looked like New York style pizza?
No. A good New York style
Ooh.
pizza should have a crisp bottom. There should be no downward flop.
Yeah.
A fold in the center. That's
No
all.
floppy pizza. No self-respecting New Yorker would eat a floppy pizza like that.
But
Well, and he's British, the actor, so he doesn't.
Oh, he
fucking
is?
know.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we cut over. Yeah, so this is Bobby Axe Axelrod, Captain Winters himself. And that was part of why I wanted to watch this. It's like, it's Captain Winters versus John Adams. Like, come on.
When's Captain Winters from?
From Band of Brothers.
Oh, okay, yeah, I haven't finished that yet.
He's also the henchman from Your Highness.
Yes.
No,
Which-
I'm not familiar with that.
It was just the anniversary of us going to see that. I had a memories thing.
Oh, nice.
Do you remember that film, Victor? Your Highness?
I do not know.
It is James Franco and Eastbound and Down. What's his name?
Vice principals,
I've never seen
the
that.
righteous gemstones.
Yeah,
Danny McBride.
Danny
is the name
McBride.
I was
Oh, that
searching
guy.
for.
and Natalie Portman.
Oh,
And
wow.
it is
Huh.
a medieval stoner comedy fantasy thing. And Jafar and I bullied a movie theater into holding a midnight showing.
I want to hear the story later.
You've heard the story. We
Yeah.
called the movie theater asking about a midnight showing enough where they scheduled one.
Oh,
and we
genius.
brought all of our LARP friends, and we all wore like Renaissance fair garb, and we all went and saw Your Highness at midnight. And we filled up like a third of the theater with just our friends, and was there anybody else there that wasn't someone that we explicitly bullied into going?
No. It was just us.
Fantastic.
But it was very
This
funny
is
where we were
wonderful.
just calling up
Oh,
the
you
place
guys are
like,
great.
"Are you guys going to have a midnight showing of Your Highness?" Like, no.
You do it enough times,
Yeah.
you get a manager who's answered that call 3 times, and they're like, "Fuck it, we'll do one."
Yeah. Okay, there'll be enough people here to pay the 4 high schoolers who have to stay late. All right, fine. But Axe is a pizza place that he used to go to as a kid, and he's found out it was on hard times, and a falafel place is coming in, and he offers, "Hey, I'll make all of your financial problems go away. You scratched my back as a kid. I'm giving it back now that I'm rich." And
Fucking falafel's taking all our pizza places away from us.
and this is the sort of like, hey, he's a man of the people persona that he has. But then we immediately cut to Axe back at his
At his firm, with
At his firm.
His brown nosers following him in the hallway, and we get a lot of financial techno babble, and yeah, it is. This is my first puke point for this episode. I have quite a few. I'm bringing back, like, I see when I first came in, I had the Gator Hater points. I haven't thought of a funny name for it yet. For now, I'm calling it puke points, where this show made me gag.
well, just don't gag on the Ballians.
Very nice, very nice. Actually,
But-
no, you can do better. You can do better. It was
But the important thing here is that while the other guys, they saw the financial information they were supposed to see, because Axelrod is so smart and he knows the players as well as knowing the game, he sees that it was all just a clever ruse. And that actually, while everybody's betting on this stock to go up, you should be betting on it going down.
Ooh. Then we bounce back to the SEC meeting with Chuck, and he gets berated by Chuck for bringing him this small fish, and SEC guy casually mentions something about his wife, and they're like, "Okay, get the fuck out."
Yeah.
And I like that his underling, his number one there, was the one who kicked him out. That
Yeah.
shows that they've got a history together, I think. Either that or he's just really trying to kiss his ass. So,
It can be both.
yeah, it could be both.
It's a nice of show instead of tell, which I appreciate.
Yeah, his sidekick Brian.
Yeah, there's lots of talk about how they're just like going to be fucking rock star lawyers here. It's just like, come the fuck on, guys. This is why Beth referred to this show as Entourage for Finance Bros. And this scene really made me feel that.
That said, I've dealt with enough lawyers where I'm like, they clearly interviewed a bunch of lawyers. It's like, yeah, this is how they all see themselves.
Yeah, I believe that.
And so I believe this is exactly what it's like being in one of those offices.
Oh man, Laura Earmuffs! I cannot wait until you guys on Who Are You get to the courtroom episode of Battlestar Galactica.
Oh yeah,
That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, don't say anything else. But yeah,
Nothing else.
after this, we cut over to Axelrod giving out checks to cover college tuition to families.
He's giving out college scholarships to a bunch of privileged kids.
Well, these are kids
whose parents died, Victor.
Whose parents died on the September.
Is that what it is? I thought it was
Yes.
just the kids of his coworkers who were there.
No,
Well,
the
the office was in the World Trade Center. Everyone but Axelrod died because he was the only one away on other meetings. And if this show were made 10 years later, that would be suspicious. But I think this is still a little too early for anything like that.
Would it though? I mean, I remember the conspiracy theorists jumped out in full force.
Yeah, but how would he have known?
I don't know. Maybe we'll
find
get.
out?
Yeah, I'm wondering.
Maybe he goes to jail for financing terrorism. Maybe he's responsible for 9/11. Maybe that's what this show is about.
Man,
what a fucking twist that would be.
I almost made a prediction about that, about how maybe he somehow had knowledge about the incoming planes and he didn't tell anyone.
If that is true, it is going to be a rough reveal because we find out that one of the partners who died was his brother-in-law.
Yeah, but still, he seems to be such a real, like,
oh yeah, but I'm saying, like,
narcissistic
if his
piece of
wife
shit.
finds out, like, you knew, like,
Yeah.
oh, that could be a half-season arc right there.
Yeah, I could see that happening. So this show started in 2016. So that's
Yeah.
That's,
But I
you
do
know,
appreciate there's
not
a
too
mom who makes a snarky, like, it should have been you comment. And he's like, I get it. Like, yeah, your husband's dead. That sucks. But, like, I'm giving scholarships to all of the kids. Like,
okay.
now is not the time to be shitty.
I didn't realize those were the kids of the deceased there. Okay,
Yes.
so thanks for pointing that out. That makes it a little better. I was all just like, yeah, it made me.
He's supposed to
I gave
be
a
a
puke
hero
point
here.
to this, but I am revoking my puke point now.
Just slobber it back up.
Just like my puppy does.
Rhodes, after this, wonders if this is a setup from the SEC to make him look like a fool. And then he talks about how matadors never go for the kill. They wait for the bull to be stabbed a couple of times.
That's
I
my next
had
puke point.
no idea that matadors killed bulls. I thought they just
dude.
ran and dodged them.
Oh no,
I know nothing about Spanish culture
So
besides
listen, when I
tapas.
was younger, I was somewhat of an adrenaline junkie. I was like, I was working on my skydiving license. I was mountain biking, doing all sorts of shit. And I looked into, this was like in my early 20s, so I was really stupid. I was looking into becoming a bullfighter, like getting into my Spanish heritage roots. And then I looked into actually how it is. It's kind of pathetic. Like, I was like, there is no danger involved here to these matadors. Like, it's not just the matador. They have a whole team. They have, they have one guy, the matador is, like, in charge of his team, and he has, like, little underlings in there with the bull. And the bull is usually drugged before they set it loose. So it's not a fair fight at all.
But every bullfight ends with a dead bull.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really kind of pathetic. I was disgusted when I learned just how much of a... I thought it was like modern day gladiator type shit. I'm like, oh, that's so fucking cool, but no, it's not. No, and also the breed of bull that they typically fight are, despite them looking really scary, they're naturally not very aggressive. So they have to be like prodded to try and fight. Fight in air quotes. If they really wanted to be like hardcore or just be better, they should fight Cape Buffalo. Those things are fucking scary. They're on like the top 10 list of most dangerous animals out there, biggest threats to humans.
Victor, I think you're just trying to reinvent bestiari.
What is that?
Bestiari are the interesting thing.
Are you saying that word wrong, Ben?
Are you saying
not.
bestiary?
No, bestiari are in a Roman games.
Mm-hmm.
Gladiators never fought animals.
Right.
That was a different performer called a bestiari or a bestiarius.
Okay.
And they fought in the morning, and they had crazy, like, horrifically, like, ornate, faux hunts. And that was their thing. Like, they'd train and then murder the animals. And just... It feels like we are one step away from that with your suggestion here, Victor.
Yeah. Well, back to our previous season, that's something that if we lived in a libertarian utopia, I would totally bring back. Yeah.
But one of the things they talk about here in this scene is like, okay, it feels like the SEC is fighting, is trying to set us up. Like, you don't fight Tyson in his prime, and that is what Axelrod feels like. He is like the biggest, the toughest of these financial guys. And I just wanted to know, like, you guys, how much would I have to pay you to fight Tyson in his prime? You don't have to win. You just have to get in the ring with him.
Dude, I'm so pathetic. You could cover my rent for a month, and I'd do it. Sure, buy me a really nice dinner, dude.
Do I get to keep my health insurance? Because I've got good health insurance right now, so that factors in a great deal.
I mean, yeah, this is like, hey, next weekend, you versus Prime Tyson. How much?
I mean, as long as the fight doesn't have to last very long, because I'd probably drop in like the first 10 seconds.
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, you're going to get knocked out immediately.
Yeah,
so
it's Prime Tyson.
It's Prime Tyson.
Get
You're
dental
gonna get
insurance.
knocked out, and you're going to ask him very nicely to not kill you.
Hey, Victor, you want to do this?
I don't.
I don't.
I need rent.
I don't. But I would say, I mean, like logistically, $10 million, I would never have to work again. I could open a brewery.
Oh,
I
that'd
could
be
do
nice.
whatever I fucking wanted for the rest of my life. and not only do whatever I wanted for the rest of my life, but set aside enough money where any future generations would not have to worry about shit.
Just buy me a steak dinner at Chili's, Ben. I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll get you the queso skillet.
Hell yeah.
No. That's an inside joke, Victor.
Oh, is it? Did it? I think I can see where that's going.
Have you ever ordered the queso skillet?
Probably. I probably had it. Yeah.
What'd it look like?
It looked like shit.
Close enough.
Yeah.
We're there. We're there.
Good enough.
The logical leap has been made.
Right.
So we then cut
also,
over
Chuck
to...
Chuck is out of ketchup. This man is so high, he has his own glass ketchup bottle in his office.
But we then cut over to our angry mom, who gets taken outside by Axelrod's wife. I've got her name written down. Laura.
That is actually not Denise Crosby, or a young Denise Crosby. Looked, I swear, it was like, oh my God, it's Tasha Yar. So.
But she does. I immediately lost all sense of like respect for the angry mom, where she's just like, I'm just so sorry. We just had to sell our boat. It's like,
yes,
oh,
thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
fuck you, lady.
I wrote the same thing. I was like, oh, you had to sell your boat.
Sorry, I had to make a scene in front of you giving scholarships to children with dead parents. I had to sell my boat.
The only time that would bring any kind of sympathy is if it's a little old woman living in Thailand or some shit. If she says she has to sell her boat. Okay.
Yeah, if it's like, I had to sell my husband's old fishing boat, and it's like, it was 7 feet, and it's like, yeah.
Yeah, no.
But I did. I like Axelrod's wife Laura, because she's just like, yeah, if you came in private, we would have talked to you.
Right.
You made it public, we'll smack you down.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, is that a threat? And she gives that like, I thought that
Yes.
was obvious. Like, yeah, that was a fucking threat. Like, I'm not a rich person like you.
Mm-hmm.
I will smack you down in the street.
Yep. So I think then we go back over to Chuck at his court office. Where does he work? I know it's probably
He
the
is
Department of
the
Justice.
district attorney
Yeah.
for the Southern District of New York,
Okay.
which is like
Kind of a
the
big
most
deal, I guess,
powerful district attorney there is in the country.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. And his assistant or intern, or no, she's not an intern. She just got promoted. I forgot. But I love her name, Kate Sacker. That's a great name. She comes up and lets Chuck know that she heard that Bobby wants to buy a house. And this is
Yes.
apparently a really big deal.
Well, it's because he is buying a giant fuck-off mansion, which will put a dent in his man-of-the-people persona.
Right. And apparently it's in the same neighborhood as his father's house, I think she
Yes.
mentioned. Yeah. So that's like some kind of a power move. I mean, I honestly don't get it. I mean, okay, ooh, I'm buying a house. Fuck you.
I hate these kind of houses. I feel like they should,
Yeah.
they and all golf courses should be destroyed.
Thank you, Ben. Yes, I agree. Yeah. Because you could house like the entire population of the homeless folk in New York inside that house. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get a shot of, I guess, Chuck imagining what Bobby would be doing in said house, and God, we get an image of fucking Bobby's ballsack right as he's diving into the pool. I'm like, oh
Yep.
God, was that necessary?
Yes. So
That's my next puke point.
We then have our sycophant from earlier, Nathan, and he is now talking to the in-house psychologist at Axe Capital, Dr. Mojo.
Dr. Mojo.
And he's saying, hey, me and my dumb vest, we haven't been able to make any profits this year, and what do I do? And she does some very, like, alpha sales bravado bullshit stuff to him that I'm sure, Jafar, you have experienced this sort of stuff, but Victor, I don't know if you have in the Army.
Oh, dude, all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Like these bullshit motivational speeches. Oh, I'm great at those.
My notes
I've heard
here-
enough that I can just yeah. No, hang on. Let me see if I can just muster up that. It's like, listen up, Ben. I need you to reach down inside your soul and grab your soul by your nuts and bring the power and bring the pain and get out there and be the biggest Ben you have ever been.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's just something broken in me. I have never heard one of those things and not just been like, all right, I feel worse than before. And I want to do my job less.
Okay, so
Thanks, I
are,
hate
y- are you broken? Yes. Is that the reason why? No.
Okay.
Yeah, my notes here say we get Andrew Tate's personal therapist telling
Yes.
us to listen to our internal alpha. Lol, jokes on you. Andrew Tate doesn't have a therapist.
Yeah. That
There's-
is, I got to say, that's what I really hated the most about this show is that
Yeah, 100%.
it's showing just a lot of powerful men who should be in jail but aren't because of their power and status, who think they're fucking above the law. Who obviously, it's like, reminds me of like Andrew Tate, Roman Polanski, our current fucking president, that should all be behind bars but are somehow above the law. Ugh, puke point times 2. Blech, blech.
But what I did appreciate about it is
Double
they
up.
talk about how... Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jafar.
No, I was making a Sir Mix-a-Lot joke because he did it in the exact same cadence as Baby got back with the double puke.
Oh, he did? Oh, I did?
Yeah, that, double up. Yeah, no, it was perfect.
Nice.
But what I did appreciate about this is they show, like, how shallow and, like, superficial it is. Like, why is Axelrod doing this? Because he, there's no
a
deep
power
meaning
move.
to it. It's just because fuck you. Like, this guy who our therapist pumps up, we see how, like, just sad and pathetic he is. And she knows, like, this is what I have to say to this dumb piece of shit to get him back out on the floor and trading. Like, she is not fixing him. She is not therapizing in a way to, like, make him a fully actualized person. She is being a therapist to get you back doing work.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's also
She's in
telling
HR.
that
Yes.
that this firm can afford a full-time psychiatrist in.
Who we find out later how much she makes.
Yeah. And also, like, I don't know if this was supposed to be obvious or not, but to me it was obvious that she was the dominatrix from the beginning. So that was the first, like, big reveal to me. Like, I don't know, I just recognized the voice, so I was like, holy
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's so you're like, oh, are things all right at home? And then he's all like, yeah, things are fine, but
Right.
you're led to believe that he's like seeing this dominatrix and what's going on there.
Is he
and
cheating? Yeah. No.
Then,
Right.
and it happens to be the therapist. And then in the very next scene, we find out, no, everything has been true so far, and the dominatrix and the therapist are his wife.
Well,
Yeah.
they play a little bit coy with like it being the dominatrix, but yeah, they chat. They're talking about dinner. He's like, hey, I heard they need a new head of HR over at GE. Like, can I get you out of this place? And I did appreciate like they are both smart enough people that they are both like default manipulating each other, but realizing the other person is manipulating them, and just like, okay, this escalated really fucking fast. We need to tone this down. And so I appreciated like a representation of two smart, actualized people who also aren't just like, because in a lesser show they would have like gone to bed angry because you dared offer like, hey, I heard a dream job for 99% of people, like head of HR of General Electric.
Right.
Like you'd be like stoked. But because it's, hey, I work for a financial company and my boss does financial stuff, and my husband investigates financial crime. Like, why? What's going on? Why are you offering me a job? Like, of course you're being suspicious. But then they're like, hey, let's tone this the heck down.
Be suspicious.
I find it just a little unbelievable that he would. Like he mentioned that they had talked previously about how there may be a conflict of interest that day may come, and she asks like, "Are you investigating X Capital?" I mean, he could have just given her a very hint non-answer, being all just like, it may or may not be in your best interest to look for a new job,
But hey, do you?
He does say that like I can't tell you that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, he could do like a wink, wink kind of thing. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what he does.
I feel like he didn't. I feel like he was not making it obvious enough. So I don't know.
I feel like
I just might be dumb.
I feel like if my husband who goes after the financial criminals is like, hey, you want a new job? And I'm a doctor, I could probably put 2 and 2 together.
Right.
But then we have Axelrod's dinner with his family,
His mansion and his private chef, Good
Chef
Lord.
Brian, and his dog. And I do appreciate that they do presidential trivia over dinner. Like,
You would.
of course I would.
He's pitting his kids against each other
Right. Yeah.
in ways I don't appreciate.
But I appreciated that the dog peed on the furniture. That is probably like, he peed on a coffee table. That is probably worth more than my entire net worth right now.
Oh, for sure. I only say that because I can see you on camera.
Oh, you're a dick. But nice one, Ben. Nice one. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I haven't shaved in a few days, but okay. So yeah,
Rhodes goes to his dad's, or no, sorry.
Chuck is
Rhodes'
meditating.
dad shows up at work.
But he's meditating. He's meditating.
Yes.
That's important, I think.
Yes, it is.
We see both of our finance bros meditating over the episode.
But we have a conference for a person who was just convicted of financial crimes, and man, like the lawyer and the guy are just like, "Hey, we brought your dad, but we're not paying him. He's just here for support, so it's not a conflict of interest." And it's just
Yeah.
like, no, but it's fucking stupid.
And they said it was a leniency council or something, leniency meeting.
Yeah.
Is that a real thing?
Yeah.
Because it sounded like, it reminded me of in Dungeons and Dragons, the Absolution Council. I know, I'm a huge nerd, but that was. That's
Yeah,
what
so
made
this
me
guy has been convicted. He's about to go to jail, but he's like, I can't go to jail. That's for pores. And it's just like, hey, man, like, you're going to, like, white-collar, like, financial crimes prison.
Or they probably put a mint on your fucking pillow. So.
Yeah, like, calm the fuck down.
Right. And, oh yeah, and the next big reveal for me anyway was that Chuck's dad is Dale from The Walking Dead. I fucking loved Dale and was super sad. I think we're past the
Statute of limitations.
statute of limitations for spoilers. I was super sad when
Yeah.
Dale died. He was one of my favorite characters.
Dale dies.
Yeah.
Dale Dye? Like Captain Dale Dye?
Oh, who the hell is that? Is that a wrestler? That's a wrestler.
No,
isn't it?
Captain Dale Dye. You know him. He's he's the captain from Platoon. He's Colonel Sink in Band of Brothers. He's a guy who's built his whole career on like he does the like military boot camps for actors.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Oh, really? Wow. Huh.
yeah, and so because of that, like they put him in a bunch of movies. Yeah.
Okay, well, different Dale.
Yeah.
And I love that in this scene, it made me like the character of Chuck a little more because he turns down this huge offer for a plea deal and threatens to arrest his own dad if he comes back.
That is the sort of thing I would want to talk to a therapist about.
Yeah. So yeah, he gives him a hug and gives what's his name? Oh, shit! What's our white collar felon's name?
Axelrod.
No, the older.
Oh, Skip.
Skip. Yeah,
Yep.
gives Skip a hug and says, "Hey, you know, I've
I
known
believe
since
in
I was
you.
a kid. You can get through this, right?" Yeah. So then we bounce over to Bobby having a work meeting at his son's basketball game, and who shows up? It's Gale from Breaking Bad.
Yep.
I'm wondering if does Showtime own AMC? Because
I don't think so.
Or is there some kind of relationship there? Because both Walking
I don't
Dead and Breaking Bad were on AMC, so I'm wondering if they got the same pool of talent that they're pulling from. But yeah, who knows? I don't know. Listeners in the Discord, chime in, please.
But we have this bit where two people are talking about, hey, is this company who makes car rims, are they moving a lot of product or sitting on too much product? And one guy is like, they're sitting on too much product. How do you
Flashback.
know? And then we cut over to he has
Flashback to what looks like a bribe.
yeah, he bribes somebody and they break in and, see that, hey, they've got a warehouse full of the stuff. And they have a code word for it, like, I'm very certain.
Right.
It's like, oh, you did the crimes required to make us certain. And the other guy's just like, man, you could have told me you were certain. He's like, figure it out for yourself, bitch.
Now, okay, you guys living in Detroit would be more knowledgeable about this, but they start the conversation by saying that aluminum wheels have replaced steel for sedans or compact cars or some shit like that.
Mhm.
I thought that happened decades ago. I thought, am I wrong? I mean, I thought all cars used aluminum tires or aluminum wheels these days.
I have no idea, man.
I did not. When I purchased parts for cars professionally, I did not do anything with the wheels. I was entirely in the powertrain.
Yeah, I thought this was like required knowledge for anyone living in Detroit. I mean,
That's
I don't know.
racist. Spacious. What's the word here?
city-
Geolocationist.
yeah. Well,
I don't
I
know.
tried-
Victor, have you been, sexually satisfied by an armadillo? Like,
not an armadillo, but no, I'm just kidding. I have ridden a horse.
Have you eaten an armadillo?
Not that I'm aware of. That's funny. An old friend of mine I hadn't heard from in a while texted me the other day because she was passing through town and walking her dog and ran into some armadillos mating and sent me a picture of it. I'm like, holy fucking shit, the little dinosaurs. I'll put that in the Discord later. So anyway.
We then cut to Chuck showing off 400 kilos of cocaine that they seized. And instead of everybody being like, yeah, enough coke for a pretty good weekend,
Yeah.
one reporter pops up and he's like, yeah, but sure, you took care of this cocaine, but what about Axelrod? Why aren't you taking down Axelrod? Like, do you not care about financial crimes? And one thing we've heard about is like he is 81-0 in prosecuting financial crimes.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
They just told us that everyone in this city sees him as a hero.
Yeah.
and that he is unreproachable.
Yeah.
And for this dude to stand up and ask this question, I was all like, that's some bullshit. That doesn't make
Okay.
sense within the confines of the story. And then in the very next scene, Paul Giamatti agrees with me and
Yeah.
calls the guy from the SEC to bitch him out about it.
Yeah, he's like, hey, you planted this guy, dumb shit. Like, of course I knew it. I'm smarter than you. Like,
I
you're
mean,
not
I
going to
could,
bully me.
I could see that. I could see there being like a divided opinion over someone like that. Because I don't know. Like I remember back in the early 2010s, before Elon Musk went full dipshit, like there were a lot of people who were like worship. Well, he still does have a lot of ridiculously loyal followers, but there was a very big divided opinion on him. So same thing with at around the same time, same thing with what's his name, Giuliani.
Yeah.
Rudy.
At the time, he had a very like some people were huge fans and others were not so much. So I'm saying at the time, not now. But anyway,
I did appreciate Paul Giamatti here because one of the reasons I wanted to watch this show is no actor can yell like Paul Giamatti, but he has a bit here where he's like, "Have you heard the parable about the mouse that roars like a lion? Spoiler alert: it doesn't go fucking well for the mouse."
so then I think next scene is Chuck drops in on his dad.
First, we have Brian meeting his old professor at the barbershop.
Right. Yeah. He's because Chuck tells him like he has an idea. He tells him to go talk to Axe's people or his contact over at Axe people and advise him not to buy the house.
Yeah, don't buy the house because the house. If you buy the house, it's gonna look bad.
Yeah. After this, Axelrod and Dr. Rhodes, and in my notes here say, God, they literally named the characters streets and cars. This is some lazy ass shit. Come on. Talks about being told to not buy the mansion, wants him to make him want to buy the mansion more.
Yes.
Being told no means he wants it more. And then he drops some classic misogyny, and then they talk about her leaving the firm to work more social cases.
I do appreciate though. Like, I appreciate the mental disconnect that he's talking about, where it's like, when you are a billionaire, no one sees you as a person; they see you as a money faucet, and like how alienating that can be. Similar to, as he puts it, like being a very attractive woman. People do not see you as a person; they just see you as an object, and I can see the parallel. But then, Wendy is just like, "Hey, exercise some goddamn self-control. Like, don't buy the dumb house." And when Wendy's just like leaving, it's very funny where he's just like, why would you want to go? Like, can we pay you more? And she's like, no, you pay me fine. Which during Wendy and Chuck's argument, we find out that she makes 8 times what he does as the district attorney for the Southern District of New York, who makes like good money. But I do appreciate this ends with Axe offering her a open business relationship. Like, it's okay, baby. You can go see clients on the side. You just have to come home to me. Like, at the end of the day, just I need to know you'll be here. Like, it's okay. You don't have to tell me about them. Just let me know when you won't be home.
Yeah. So yeah, she wants to go do something useful, like talk to like abuse victims or at-risk kids or something, instead of just fucking
finance
white-collar
bros
shitbags who just want to make another million. Yeah, it's bullshit. So I mean, it's good. I mean, yeah, kudos to you for wanting to do something useful.
Yeah. Rhodes goes to see his pop after this point, and he reveals it was all a ploy to get him feared by Wall Street.
It's pretty nice,
you'll
actually.
Be shitty to
I
me.
like it.
Imagine what they'll do when I'm not there.
Yeah.
Like,
which is pretty fucking cool. I liked that part. This is one of the few parts that I liked of the show.
And I did appreciate here where Chuck Sr. is just like, why is your wife still working? And it's like, she makes so much more money than me, Dad.
Oh, right,
That is
yeah.
what you want. That is not what I want. Like, Mom never left the kitchen. My wife leads a fully actualized life. And Paul Giamatti is just like, yeah, and that's dope for me. And I'm like, all right, that's pretty cool for this show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is one thing where I realized, like, this show, for it having a lot of, like, douchey alpha bro energy, also has so far 2 very strong, well-written, actualized female characters.
Mm-hmm.
And I did appreciate that.
Yeah. They just haven't passed the Bechdel test.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, the actress who plays Dr. Mojo, I recognized her. She played a great character in Mad Men in, I think, the first season.
She was also in Sons of Anarchy. She was
haven't
great
seen
in that.
Sons of Anarchy yet. Yeah. Damn. Okay, so then
So,
Danny M meets with Bobby, and he has sweaty hands.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't write down his names. I just wrote down sweaty hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, he comes in. Bobby is knowing exactly what's going on here. We see him leave. He grabs a burner out of a safe. He calls this guy Hall. And this is when we learn that the other Bobby M was cooperating with the FBI. Hall warns that the SEC is whatever, but they have to watch out for the U.S. attorney. He says to win over the journalist who threw out his name, and then also to throw Captain Ransom under the bus.
Yeah,
I'm
and they
gonna
have
go
this
ahead and
Commander
say-
Ransom.
They have
It's
this
Commander
meeting
Ransom.
in a
It's
boiler
Captain
room or
Ransom.
something.
No.
No, it's Captain Ransom.
No. He's always Commander in my heart.
Yeah, well, that's rude and reductionist. He got a promotion.
Just like it's always going to be Captain Picard. He's not Ambassador Picard. No, fuck that. He's
Yeah,
Captain
also,
Picard.
people aren't limited to your view of them, Ben. People grow.
No, art is, based on the viewer's interpretation.
There's stories, and the characters in them grow and become more than what you perceive them to be. They are collective in culture.
Look,
You're
I
not
appreciate
the only one who thinks about Captain Picard.
I appreciate you guys having this conversation, but can we get back to the boiler room?
Yes.
Yeah.
Was that an analogy or a artsy thing? Because I mean, this show reminded me a lot of the movie Boiler Room. So I don't know. Is there?
I
Am I
haven't
reaching?
seen that movie.
Am I reaching there? Oh yeah. it's
No,
one
I
of
think
the-
I think you were actually really onto something there. Victor.
Thank you, Ben.
Uh,
I agree with whatever you just said that you were arguing with Jafar about.
It's always how it fucking goes.
this does feel like the kind of this TV show where you would run across somebody who's like, no, it's not a business card, it's a fuck you. Because if you ask somebody for their business, if somebody offers you their business card, they're trying to end the conversation. So that's why I don't carry business cards. And I once worked with a guy like that, where people were like actively asking him for his business card so they could call him back. And he was like, I don't carry business cards because Ben Affleck said it in a movie. And it's like,
Business cards are kind of the same thing as flyers to me. People handle flyers because it's just rude. It's like saying someone hands it to you, and they're basically saying, "Here, you go throw this away."
well, sometimes you need to have somebody's business card so you can contact them.
Meh. Maybe I'll get
But
business
yeah, we have this guy who is cooperating with the FBI, and they need to find somebody else to take the fall, to take the heat off.
Let's see. That is unfortunately where my notes end. Where did I?
So,
did I delete this or something. What the hell?
Axelrod has lunch with the journalist,
Oh yeah, at a closed restaurant. That's a
Yeah.
fucking power move.
and
Some real kingpin shit.
he tries to
Yeah.
bring up the college fund. He's just like, hey, don't fucking talk to me about that. Don't talk to me about 9/11. And I'm just like, I can understand why that would be super fucking traumatic. But his line is, no, I don't do insider trading. We just analyze the data better. Like, we're just smarter than you, which we have seen he can also do.
Right.
Like, that is what he does that first time where he's just like, no, I know that CEO guy. It's all a rug pull.
There
But
was a great episode of The Office where they had hired a recently released felon, and he comes up, he's like, hey, well, it's okay. I just went to jail for insider trading, but now I'm on a work rehabilitation program or something like that. And oh God, what's his name? Oh, I forgot the guy's name, but Kevin. Yeah, he does an interview and he goes, he explained to me what he went to jail for, and it sounds a lot like what I do here every day.
But we end this lunch meeting with Axelrod giving this journalist a phone, and he says, "Don't call me until after the trading day is over. Never leave a voicemail, and never email me." And like, that's the fun clandestine stuff you love.
I give most people similar instructions.
I just say never call me. Text. It's 2025, dipshit.
I know, right? Yeah, someone calls you without texting first. You're like, what the hell, you fucking sociopath? What's wrong with you, man? So what happens next? Where are we at now?
Then we have our keynote speech with Axelrod and Captain Ransom, where they are talking about, hey, our hedge fund scavengers and destroying the economy. And Axelrod's like, no, we just destroy the stuff that should be dying. And it's like,
Oh, this is
fuck
the
you.
this is the thing, the event with what's his name? O'Connell? Jerry O'Connell?
Jerry
Is that
O'Connell,
the
yeah.
guy? Yeah.
Captain Ransom from
Wait,
Lower
what?
Decks.
Oh, Lower Decks, right. Jeez. Okay, sorry.
Sorry, should we have gone with the Kangaroo
Sliders?
Jack references?
No, Sliders.
Sliders is a good call.
But I loved, like, they made his character in this show, which is Birch.
Mm-hmm.
He's the kind of guy who's just like casually referencing A Few Good Men, but making it so that, no, you want hedge fund managers up on that wall. You need hedge fund managers up on that wall. And I'm like, okay, I will not feel bad at all when this guy gets framed for crimes.
Yeah. Is it framed so much, or is it actual, like an actual?
Or his crimes get exposed.
Yeah.
I feel it's more that. Yeah, you're right.
And that reporter does the most obvious, like, holding his phone and recording with the recording app open, just like pointing it
Oh
at
yeah,
him.
just like get it right in there.
Like, how the fuck? Dude. That was sad. Like, how do you not? Anyway, how did you not notice?
But then we finally get our face-to-face showdown between Bobby and Chuck. And Axelrod has a fun line here where he's like, what's the point of fuck you money if you don't eventually get to say fuck you? Like, I want to buy a giant fuck off house. Like, leave me alone.
Yeah. Here in this scene, we get something that I'm going to call a white-collar dick-swinging monologue that I feel like we're going to get a lot of in this series. I might base a few of my predictions on white-collar dick-swinging monologues. Where they just spit out a bunch of financial techno-babble mixed in with a lot of profanity and shit, talking like let me see if I can make one up real quick. Like you look at me right now and you see... Never mind. I'll save it for another episode.
Okay. I believe you can do it.
I can do it, yeah. I just need a little bit of practice.
But I did appreciate that Paul Giamatti's character brings up something that is very true about what I've seen about America. The only thing we love more than a hero is ripping that person to shreds when they fail us, or
That's true.
just shitting on them on their way down. Like, that has been basically what we've been doing to Katy Perry and Gayle King for the last week.
That's exactly the first person I thought of.
Yeah.
How dare you? And like, this is a conversation I've had with my wife recently, where it's just like,
Ooh.
we're old enough now where we have seen like the pop star cycle happen a couple of times, and I'm just like, oh man, like there are people who are like on their way up now, where I'm just like, they got about 2 years left before this is like completely pear-shaped. And it's just like, we could tell her students, her high schoolers, like, yeah, in 2 years, you're probably going to hate Chapel Rowan.
I can
It's
see that.
already happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you are going to think she is you are going to pretend like you never liked her. And there will be people who are like, no way, never. And it's like, I've seen this happen.
just
Like,
wait.
this has all happened before, and it'll all happen again. Like,
Yeah.
Yep.
For me, it was Rammstein, or
Oh.
at least, yeah, at the very least, the front man from Rammstein. So decided I'm.
Piece of shit.
Oh, he's a huge piece of shit. Yeah.
I've had it happen
Anyway.
to bands I like.
Yeah.
you'll
It just
have it
happened to
happen. Yeah.
Weezer, like last
Weezer?
week.
Well, okay.
Did someone destroyed a sweater?
No, the bassist from Weezer's wife got in a shootout with the cops.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. No. What I'm surprised with Katy Perry is like imagining marrying Russell Brand not being the most embarrassing thing you've done in your life. So-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so yeah, we get our final the monologue, and Bob. I think that was Chuck pressuring him to go buy the house. Actually,
Well, so he
Or
told
actually,
him
it
not
was-
to. He's like, "Don't
yeah.
do it. It's fucking stupid," knowing that it'll trigger Axelrod into doing a petulant baby response.
Right.
And so he reverse psychologied him, like, to his face, knowing like you don't have the self-control to not do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and then he goes home and sees his dog with the cone of shame, who had just been neutered, and I think he was just like
I won't let them neuter me. I do
Right.
what I want. That is exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And so that is one of the things, like, I appreciated, like, he's looking at the dog and he's like, I'm smart enough to know this is the response I'm having, but I'm still having it. And
Doing
I'm
it anyway.
I'm a billionaire. So you know what? I don't care. $63 million cash for this house. And so, like, that is the one thing I appreciated, where it's like, it is not showing these guys having like hidden depths. It's like, yeah, he's very smart, and he's also being completely like manipulated, and it's not that complicated. He just doesn't like being told no. He's reacting like a toddler. But then we also have,
Speaking of which, I'm just throwing this out there for the listeners. My my little puppy Daisy, who I have what's the word I'm looking for? God, what's wrong with my brain today? I can't. Who I've chronicled her life since I adopted her growing up. Next week I'm going to try to take her in to get her tubes snipped. So yeah, stay tuned, everyone, for if you enjoy pictures of dogs wearing the cone of shame.
yeah, I need to get a cone. I've got my
sorry about
appointment in 2 weeks.
Oh, really? Congrats!
Eh.
But then we see that Chuck gets a call because Skip has killed himself.
Yep.
Yeah, guy can't do what I'm gonna guess is like a very minor amount of time. And
Yeah.
It's all it's all relative with people who, I mean, they're used to one quality of life, and then it just suddenly drops to something that the average person would have. Oh no, like this reminded me of again in the early 2010s. Since we're already on the subject of 9/11, and where I was living in Austin, Texas, there was that time that a man who had recently taken some really big business losses crashed his plane into the IRS building in Austin, Texas, and it was a small little 2-seater plane, and he left a whole manifesto on his fucking website, and it's like, oh, you poor man.
Yeah.
You owned a house in West Austin and a fucking plane. Like,
Right.
What the hell? Anyway.
And I do appreciate Chuck goes back into the office and he's just like, would we have capitulated and plead down if he was, doing $10 million worth of drug crimes? No. So why should we feel bad that he's a businessman doing $10 million worth of finance crimes? Yeah. And I'm like, yes, I wish people were like this more often.
Yeah, that's probably another thing I didn't like about the. Well, I already mentioned it, that it reminded me too much of like reality. Back
See,
when,
but this is what I wanted.
back
I
when
want to be
white
like,
collar crime actually got prosecuted.
I want to watch something where finance people are getting persecuted for their crimes,
Yeah,
Yeah.
or
Oh, well.
prosecuted, not persecuted.
both. Yeah. I'm happy with both.
But then we cut back to our Axelrod at his new fuck off house, and he's like, "Yeah, if they come after me, they come after me. I'll I don't care."
Yep. And then we get our final scene with Chuck goes home, and it's looking like he's about to get peed on again.
Yep. He doesn't tell her that they opened the case
No.
and gets distracted with some sexy time to end credits. And that is our episode. We did
Episode
it, y'all.
1 pilot.
So I am sorry about the pee stuff. But I just
Episode title, ding that shit.
I wanted
Sorry
to
about
show
the pee stuff.
I wanted a show with machinations where it's
Yeah.
just like people scheming and counter scheming, and like that was what I was looking for. And
We'll
this
get
does have that in spades.
Ironically, the pee scene was one of the least offensive things in this episode to me personally. But
Yeah. I'm going to call it tech bro babble.
yeah, nice.
Was a bit much.
Yeah, bro. Well, it's time for everyone's favorite part of the show, besides the ripe opening and ending.
Well, I mean, those are fucking awesome. Though.
Yeah.
All right, I got some dice. So I ran the formula. We're rolling 3d6.
Nice.
Nice
That's
and even.
That's old school D&D fireball damage right there.
Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and give these a go. And that is a 13.
Are we still in season 1?
No.
Whoa.
So the formula is set to watch 8 episodes. There are 7 seasons of this show. So we're going to be skipping a season every time, just statistically.
Yeah.
So we're jumping to the season 2 premiere.
No. Season 2, episode 3.
Oh, okay.
Optimal play.
Season 1 is 12 episodes. We watched 1, so we skipped 11, and then 2 more of the next, and then we watched that one. So, Season 2, Episode 3, Optimal Play. Axe considers buying an NFL franchise and finds a new ally. Chuck begins a last-ditch case against a banking titan by developing a low-level informant. Meanwhile, Wendy makes a controversial appearance at the Alpha Cup charity tournament by accompanying a competitor as his performance coach. Lara launches a new business.
Jafar, did you say informant?
He
Informant,
did.
Yes.
You guys
Informant. I
you
know
guys are
how
doing
it's
this on
actually
purpose,
said. Yeah, I 100% was doing that on purpose.
No, that's cool. I do the same thing. So, I recently played Fortnite for the first time with my girlfriend. She plays it regularly with her family on.
How old is she? Just don't actually answer that question on pod, but I do expect an answer when we're done recording.
It's fine. I mean, she's 10 years younger than me. I'm 42. Do the math. So,
You know what? That's older than I expected.
yeah. Well, she does it to keep in touch with her family. Really, we don't really play to play, but it was the first time I'd ever played.
Okay. I mean, that's
I'd
fine.
ever played Fortnite, and yeah, I kept on. And they were like, I was like, I picked up the snipper riffle. So I like calling it a snipper riffle. So I've never talk. All right, so
let's do
time
our
for predictions.
Lincoln, what are you doing up there?
Guessing. I guess no one's coming.
I have seen into the future.
You ruined the prophecy.
All right, I got this.
Go for it.
Daytime. We never see sweaty hands again.
You better not be doing a big. Oh.
The next one, we will. I think we'll see this character, but it's not part of my prediction.
Okay.
Daddy Rhodes dies over the course of the show.
Son of a bitch! I have that exact same.
You still can.
Okay.
My primetime prediction. I'm just gonna throw it out here. Episode 1. Axelrod will go to jail or prison at some point.
Okay.
I almost made a similar prediction to that. Okay, well let me go next because I'm excited over here. So, something I noticed about this, there was no violence at all in this episode, unless you count the cigarette burn, but that was consensual.
Consensual.
Yeah, which reminded me of the show on Netflix I really liked, Mindhunters. It was something amazing. I read in an article after I'd watched binged the entire series that there was actual no violence at all in that entire series, and it was just still thrilling, kept you at the edge of your seat. So I'm going to say, just for our next episode, again, we will also have no violence in the entire episode.
All right.
My evening prediction is, I was going to say that Daddy Rhodes dies before the series ends, but I'm going to go different then, just to be different than Jafar. I'm going to say he ends up in jail before the series ends. We find out his record is not as clean as Chuck is led to believe.
Okay.
And for my primetime prediction, at some point we're going to see Dr. Mojo and Chuck are going to separate. They might not divorce, but they will definitely be separated, not living together. And bonus points if she ends up fucking Bobby.
Okay.
All right. Well, my daytime is something bad happens to the giant mansion. My evening prediction, Chuck Sr. dies with them, with stuff left unsaid between them.
Okay.
So, not just dead and not like I'm holding your hands and we're at peace, but like, oh no, I was right about this thing or wrong about this thing, and if only I'd have told him,
So not just mostly dead, so like full on dead.
Full on dead.
Dead.
No storm in the castle.
All right.
And then my prime time is Axe gets away the first time.
Oh yeah, that's yeah. I don't think he's going to jail anytime soon.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's going to stay in jail either.
Yeah.
And also, my prediction wasn't that he goes to jail. It's that Axelrod goes to jail. So it's him or the wife.
Ooh.
One of them's going to jail or prison.
Oh,
Promise.
there will be an Axelrod behind bars,
Yeah.
is what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Could be one of the kids.
Yeah.
Anyone will take this fall. Look, you're 7. You don't know how hard it is out there. You'll be fine. You're going to go to juvie.
Oh, man.
You're gonna go far, kid.
Well, that brings us to the end of our show. I got to say, it's great to be back in the studio recording with you guys again. This is one of the highlights of my week.
Yeah. Nice to catch up.
And thank you to Ripe for letting us use use Goon Squad as
And for
our
being-
theme music.
And for being cool dudes.
Yeah.
I hope I get to meet you guys next month when you make your tour stop in Texas.
Yeah. The Discord. Go hit up the Discord. The Discord's a great place. You can chat with us there. All the other Wahop Her podcast shows are represented. Go, give those a listen if you want. Hit up the Discord, chat with us. We have a voice message thing that I don't know how to check, and I don't think we've got anything because I think Vic would tell me if we did.
I'm checking
But
it right now. Yep,
We
no
got
new
one of those
messages.
too.
Yep.
Okay.
And we will see you next time on Last Time On.
Oh, give us a
Yeah, do that.